and I have served as the PBIS coordinator for the district since we initiated in July. At this time, I'm transitioning to another role. I'll be working as a responsive counselor for the school district, and Ms. Deborah will be serving as our PBIS coordinator. Ms. Yolanda Barrios, one of our PBIS leads at one of our middle school, and Ms. Cabada is another PBIS lead at another one of our schools. We are also excited to be here with you all. Clint ISD is a small district. We have 14 campuses, 4 high schools, 4 middle schools, and 6 elementary schools. We have a large region, so to speak. Our feeder patterns are spread out pretty far. We have our Horizon feeder pattern, our Montana Vista feeder pattern, and Flex. So our goal today is to just talk a little bit about our implementation, our data, our use of data, the impact on behavior and culture at our schools so far, some of the challenges that we're working through, and some that we have already overcome. So, piggybacking off of our keynote speaker, we have all been through so much in the last couple of years, even if we have been directly affected or not indirectly affected by our pandemic. And just with, especially here in El Paso, we're just starting to heal from our 2019 tragedy. Then this hits, and then it seems like just when we're getting through something, then another variant hits, we start experiencing shortages. And so we're definitely having to ground ourselves in the reality of the situation that we are faced with. But this is our marathon moment. This is what we unknowingly been preparing for our entire careers. This is where we really stop and think about our Maslow's before blooms or our growth mindset, because this is a situation that our entire world has found itself in, and we have no choice but to move forward and to move forward with progress for our students. So we started off with our needs assessment in the spring of 2021 as a district, and of course there were so many needs that were discovered or determined during that time, but our presentation is simply based on the SEL and behavior needs. So based off of the needs assessment, our district hired 13 SEL and PBIS leads, which is 1 teacher per campus. We have 14 campuses. Our early college academy does not have a SEL lead. It is a smaller campus. They also hired our SEL PBIS coordinator. We also hired our a board certified behavior analyst, and then responsive counselors, which is 3 of them, 1 per feeder pattern. The district also purchased our PBIS rewards app and all that goes with that. They purchased our Rethink Ed, SEL, and mental health curriculum. Our district leadership has been so supportive of this initiative, and they even built in time in the master schedule in the district level for our SEL, PBIS lessons and activities. So we're very appreciative of their support. Okay, so our plan to integrate, or at this point, they're interconnected, our PBIS and SEL systems. Of course, we look at PBIS and it's focused on behaviors, but with SEL, we're focused. Okay, so with PBIS, we look at a lot at focusing on behavior, but with SEL, we're focusing on those competencies, also, known as the soft skills. So with PBIS, we might teach a student about when you walk in the hallway, you admire the displays on the bulletin board. But with the SEL part of it, we teach them why. Why can't we touch those bulletin boards? Well, because we have to have self-control, we have to have respect, and things of that nature. So that's kind of how SEL and PBIS will go together in our district. Also working on those together to work on our school culture. We're working on some school-wide consistencies and continuous improvement. And we're looking at all of that through the lens of data that we're collecting. So district-wide, we have monthly PD opportunities for all our youth. Again, our SEL needs a new position. So even though everybody who is in that position is already someone who was interested or had been working with PBIS and SEL, but now that they're working school-wide, we have to provide more professional development. They create the weekly SEL lessons that are implemented school-wide. They turn them around to the teachers, and then the teachers provide those lessons for students. PBIS Rewards in the store is set up at each campus. Well, I should say PBIS Rewards is set up at each campus. Some campuses are still working on their stores. We also, with our curriculum that we purchased, we have screening. So we used a universal screening at the beginning of the school year just to gather some data on the needs that our students were presenting. And then our district also purchased some sensory rooms at each campus. Because of the pandemic situation right now, we're still waiting on delivery, but those have already been ordered and the plan is in place for those. Okay. Get a quick question. Yes, sir.
I'm sorry, in reference to the SEL lesson plans, who's delivering those lessons?
The teachers are delivering the lessons, the SEL leads are the ones creating them and providing them. And we do have an SEL curriculum.
Who gets to use the PBIS store?
Students and teachers. And we'll share more information on that. So as you can see, our SEL leads on campus are very busy. They have a huge undertaking, which is why we feel so fortunate to have one at every campus. They're tasked with daily check-ins. So again, what good is a check-in if we don't do anything with it? The SEL leads will go through those check-ins and they'll touch base with students as needed for the check-ins. They also provide PD for their staff on a monthly basis. Parent communication. community presentation. What else? They have to coordinate everything that goes with the PBIS reward system, including the incentives. A lot of them engage in the fundraising, the rewards. And then they're also considered the leaders of our PBIS teams, if you will. So a lot of times teams will come to them for support.
So we want to make sure.
All right. So as our PBIS teams are tasked with providing those circle time meetings, they collect and report and disaggregate the data. They also focus on testing those competencies and behaviors based on the data with the hotspots and whatnot. They reteach, provide the interventions for the needs that might need small groups or techniques out with individuals.
Are we building intrinsic and extrinsic motivation?
And while we're not completely there, this is our plan. We have to manage data for research, then we reflect on that data and use it to plan our next steps. Then finally, what we're at on the information that we have, and then we go back to the research part of it. Because everything is so dynamic and it's changing. For instance, school-wide events at the beginning of the year, we were able to do that especially for PBIS kickoffs and whatnot. But now it's a little bit different, and it looks different on every campus, and you'll hear a little bit about that. Some of the challenges, of course, the pandemic. The budget, not that there isn't a budget, but just all the steps that we have to take in order to utilize the budget. Progressive bias. And I say it's progressive because it wasn't automatic. We have to build up and we have to basically show our campuses the benefit of implementing this approach. And then time. Always, even though it's built into the master schedule for the most part, it's still SEL and PBIS. We can go all day working those competencies and behaviors. And then the needs, they keep changing. So again, those are some challenges because just when we have a plan in place, we're not revise it. And then the mental health portions are exacerbated. And then finally, our last challenge, one of our last challenges is a common understanding of expectations. Because we implemented it district-wide, and has been a challenge that we are working on.
Guys, you know you're gonna get two presentations. When I say it like that, you know, You know what, after school, the area of school, now you got a whole other
Can we just help her like use her mic? I feel like we should be able to lower her. Is this our room?
Yeah, let's try. He's not. We have the beginning of the
Awesome.
Testing, testing.
somebody else.
Testing, testing. Testing, testing.
All right, everything's frozen.
Somebody else now?
Okay, come here. Gathering two.
All right, everyone. I am going to use my teacher voice. I have a starting off voice so that everybody can listen to me. So what I am going to be talking about is the middle school PBIS at Clint. So we have 4 middle school campuses. Clint Junior High, which we're on home. Horizon Middle School, Ricardo Estrada, and East Montana Middle School. Okay, for me, I am introducing the restorative circles. Restorative circles are where we have circles of students, and the students, we give as a PBIS, I give it 6, and I have it for the teachers. But we have 3 levels at our campus. The first level, here one, we call it morning circle. And the morning circle are introduced on a weekly basis. So that's school-wide implementation, which is tier 1. The way we know that it's tier 1, we have check-ins on Monday. If somebody is appointed for a check-in, that's exactly what we do. And they submit data and the need. I create the lesson for the teachers school-wide. We have something called Cal 101. Am I helping?
It's okay though,
We have something called Cal 101, and it's increments of 20 minutes. And Monday is the second to our conference. Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we have the morning circle and we hit from bullying to friendship, all the skills that they need in strategy, and the teachers we implement 20 minutes a day. Friday, the added, so we bring together organization for a whole week. So that's how we at this middle, that's level 1. So level 2 and level 3. So let me go to level 2. Oh, this is level 1. Level 1, well, we're building relationships and communities, and we practice it as a universal effect, and it's 100% throughout the school, the atmosphere, all the teams know about it. The data that's driven through the SEL, like I have already told you, and we have the scan codes, and we have everything so that children already know what to do. And with 10 minutes or 2 minutes away, they have dog circles, church like guardian students, and we talk about what they're feeling and what they work on, and they help each other out. And the teacher is only the mediator. So the main focus is on the students and the student center. Okay, level 2. So this is a little bit different, and that's level 2, problem solving on issues that are focused. We repair relationships, we target needs and problems, and it's an understanding of what they're going through at that moment. So level 2, the data driven from that is, okay, we have like our first presenter set. We have the Ed Rethink. That's where we get most of the information, and we got that information from the beginning of the school year. It's an assessment, and it assesses them in the 5 competencies for the counselors. And we have this student, I didn't put the name on it, but he received a score of 54, so he's halfway there. So based on that information, I try to get the students that are below 55%, which are in the 20s and 30s, and they are scored very, very low. So those are seriously. And based on that information, I propose little schedule and a Excel sheet, and then I put their name and which teacher they're visiting. And those programs are serviced once a week after school, either on Thursday or Friday, and they visit the teacher and they have a circle. But those circles are no more than 5 or 6 students, and they work out the problem and they talk about what's needed at that time. So tier 1 is more proactive, so we can help the students make better choices. Tier 2 is more before they're in trouble, but motivation, based on the data that we have in the formative assessment. Okay, so now this one, if we have something called Eduforia, and the teachers in RTI, they go ahead, if it's attended, this is wrong. If it's attended, I don't want to really tell you the description of the other problem, or if it's something that they're having problems in the classroom. This is talked about during the RTI, and they document here, and I have access to it, and so like they tell me of everything that's going, and they might be referred to tier 2, and that's through our partner. So that's how we're data driven, and we're trying to get that information from there. That's our second one. Okay. I thought I was something here that you know there. Okay, now tier 3. Okay, right now our school district, our school junior high tier 3 don't have 2 students. So me, I'm the one that's doing the tier 3 on Fridays, and it's me and 2 other students. And this is reactive because they've been already referred. Maybe to staff or prevention, error control. So tier 3 is more hands-on and how can we change and teaching them strategies so that they can become better learners. As a teacher for SEL, I feel that we're teaching them. That was one of our greatest pushback from our, believe it or not, our teachers in the beginning. Some of the teachers said, we're not counselors. We're not psychiatrists. That after school, especially during level 1, they were telling me, no, I can. But the way I pushed it forward, I told them we are educated. And our purpose for SEL and restorative service is teaching and strategy, and we are very good. We are good teachers that are teaching behavior and teaching us become better, and then of course learn from whatever they're doing. So that's what my main pushback was, and that's what my explanation was, and that's how we could move forward a little bit. But of course, in every campus, we always have that push, but that's how we become better, because we have those teachers saying, and that's how we figure everything out. So that is our tier 3, and we are at this point, we are here right now. So I am going through the data, and we're trying to help based on that information, and then we're going to revisit the campus, because we have leadership meetings on Monday, and we visit everything that we have. So I give my comments, and so and the last component is we have workshops.
What is your population at the school?
560 students. 560. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
So I can see.
I can hear you. Yes.
Oh, sorry about that. My teacher is on cars. All right.
Walk around the room.
Yes, we're so used to it. We can't stay still. All right, sorry about that. So our restorative circles, we are also building the component of workshops. So based on the need and the recommendations that we have presenters working. We just had a workshop on building your self-esteem with Lefty Salas, and it was a very good workshop, and it was during that snow day, so we did it virtually. But the parents were open; they were asking questions. How can my little girl do this? And it was an engaging workshop, and we learned a lot. Like the main presenter said, we take into consideration what our parents tell us, and based on that information, we're also creating our lessons. So this is the last component that we're working on, and this was the second semester. It had to get approved. So everything has been a step by step. So it was level 1 and then level 2. Now I'm at level 3 with our practice, the ones that have misbehaved or done something, and I'm trying to teach them how to do other things instead of reprimanding them. Of course, they got in trouble, but so that they can get out of trouble and we can have better, a better statistic behaviorally and of course academic. So this is my presentation. Let me introduce you to Ms. Cabada. There you go.
Hello, guys. I'm a bunch of boys, so Ms. Barrios just touched on something. She touched on individualized program, and we're going to be talking about rewards. And I think that's why some of you are here. And so I'm going to talk about some of the things, initiatives that we're going to do in our campus. And I'm going to overview. I know we have touched on this, especially our guest speaker. She was amazing at kind of breaking it down with that MTSS multi-tiered system. But this is important. This is the bread and butter of implementing PBI rewards on your campus. The first thing is establishing your PBIS committee and gaining admin support and buy-in. So the vision has to be clear. The district has to be clear. This is what we want for our campuses. I think our district is doing amazing. We have 13 leads, you said this? 13 leads? And on their campus, they are specific to their population. So commitment is important, buy-in is important, and then also having a SEL or somebody that's gonna be productive at disseminating data, making sure that we have meetings on a monthly basis, and then expecting those leads to just create that culture in the classroom and for their campus. So the second is your expectations. They have to be clear. Our kids have to know that when they're on your campus, there's certain expectations that need to be expedited. So for instance, at our campus at Cabada, we have expectations of the 4 B's. Be safe, be respectful, be responsible. If you stop a student, hey, are you following this expectation? If you're not, what's going on? What B are we not abiding by? And the students know this. We market it, we make sure there's know about it, we educate our communities about it. I know other school districts are doing things like that was another one that Can you talk about that for us?
What us warriors have respectful on task, always safe.
So you do it specifically to your district and make sure those expectations are clear. And it's important because that's what you're going to build everything around. Your whole reward system is around this specific expectation. So on our reward system, and when I go over it, I'm going to tell you how we distribute those points based off the expectation. So our recognition system, we have to establish it with not just students, but teachers. We want to motivate the teachers. We want to motivate the students to get the point. Implementing our discipline and our teaching, understanding restorative practice. Okay, so restorative practices are not just principle because he's been that. So how do we know? As teachers, especially when we're in the classroom, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do with the students. Allowing and really setting the foundation of knowing how to behave or how to manage behavior in the classroom. Is this something that I can take care of? Is it cost management, or is it something that I need support from my PBIS committee? So implementation of the discipline and the restorative practices on campus. And then we have our school tracking system. That's the PBIS reward system. We can track behavior. There's minor referrals in our system.
We can track what they bought, who issued points. We can even be communicating with our parents and transparent so that they can go onto that site and say, hey, my student got 12 points today for being responsible. I want to know what that's about. And we can be even specific to what they're being responsible for. So that tracking system. And it also helps us to just put in place those procedures, those expectations that are carried out in the and then allows us to evaluate and reflecting, going back to our committees and saying, hey, our data that she just pulled up, what is it? How is it driving our expectations on our tasks? And then, of course, surveying them, revisiting them, and then maintaining them. So, I know Ms. Deb kind of touched on elementary, she touched on middle school. I've been into high school, I've been out in middle school, but how are we maintaining it at the high school? And that's the hard part. System, sometimes kids are not motivated to want to get those points. And I'm going to talk to you about how to kind of motivate them to points, not just buying items, but also with the grade level effect. So one of
He said the sound is better, so I think we're good so far. Keep that coach voice going.
I promise I'm clicking it now and it's not going.
Ah.
So our daily check-in system, and that's the first thing I want to cover before rewards. Our systems are important. This system is important. We can gauge, it's a mood meter. As soon as our kids come in, just like you came in today, guys, when you did your PBIS check-in system, we do this with our kids. Our FBLDs are on campus, reporting that data, reviewing it daily. We know that most of the time, our mood affects our behavior, affects how we act, and maybe we can go as far as saying it might even predict how we're going to be, how we're going to, learn through the day, right? If we're having to deal with during this all these emotions, and my parents are suffering, and my grandma's sick, and I'm not feeling well, then we're able to gauge where our kids are at and how we can help them emotionally to be able to move past it, give them coping skills, life skills, and then getting them back into the classroom so that they can get the academic. So our check-in is important. I personally go to every student every day. You're anxious, you're tired. You can change that on that reward system. Okay, and you can also make it to where it's focusing on either self-management or self-acceptance. And you can, and that reward system, you're able to kind of fit it to what your campus needs. Yes.
Do you also have check-ins for your administration?
We do. We have not just administration, but our teachers. So I wish you could do that every day. If not, I would have a million teachers. They're not right. But we can do it bi-weekly some weeks when and to engage them, I'm going to talk about the teacher reward system and how we get them to check in every day. Of course, it's a process. One, there's classes ready to run. It's not important. We're the last one. We're mom, right? Mom gets ready last. Sorry, Jeff. But okay, so that's a great question. I'm in charge of reviewing the data. I'm not in charge of going to every single classroom and making sure everybody's applying, well. That's why we have our teachers. And I'm going to talk about our reward system and how we get our teachers to do that. This recognition program is not just for points. We also have included a time in our schedule. It's called win time. What I need. So within those first 35 minutes I've given our schedule, it's what the student needs, whether it's character-based lessons, it might be academic support, it might be supporting our core areas of organization like AVID,
giving different lessons. I know we work closely with our counseling group. We work closely with the leads to use the data that we're accumulating on a weekly basis. And if, let's say we have an issue with tardiness, so then our lessons will be based off of what discipline is needed at that time. And so once those lessons are being distributed at win time, we're now engaging our teachers to be socially connected to their students. I'm not going to message only by, do your PBIS check-in. I'm also utilizing my teachers and providing them support through DLCs, through supplemental videos that I'm giving them on things that might be happening, trends on TikTok, mental health, things that are in our community that we didn't see, that I have to deal with in the office, that the teachers don't have to deal with. So it's important to build and kind of bridge over that and allow those two worlds to kind of come together. And that is the beauty of having an SEL lead. The districts can, and you can advocate for that in your districts. Clint is doing it amazing. We have grade level incentives. Grade level with the best attendance gets extra 15 minutes at lunch. Grade level, if you come every day, you get a free dress break the following week. We also have events that we plan that are amazing. It can be character building events. And they use those points in our store and they purchase these items. Okay, you might be asking, oh, we don't have money for the store. And it doesn't have to cost any money. We have to be creative. We're teachers. We are like the library. We can make, a bomb out of bubble gum and paper. So we can use the community teachers we have to make sure that we are collaborating ideas. I might in my teacher store say, hey, I'm going to give an extra 15 minutes of music time, or a free assignment, or a free pass. Our teachers are also utilizing that system within their classroom. And they're expected to have a story. They're expected to. And where does that come from? It comes from the vision of the principal coming down. And so she talked about that a little bit. She said, it comes from the adults changing their behavior to expect the students will continue to, follow the rule. Positive recognition and communications is transparent. Now our parents can go, what's happening? How are we giving them any recognition? Parents, this is how we're doing it. Especially at this level, not just are we getting grade level incentives, we're also getting teacher rewards. And it's specific to an expectation that's outlined. And then our RTI. So we talked about RTI, we talked about academics, and now we're putting the two pieces together. How are we correlating the data? Who's not behaving? Behavior interventions from SEL. And then we can also look at attendance and see how they're all correlated. I'm sure I say it all the time. Students with the highest attendance rate, I can already see it affects them behaviorally, and it also affects them academically. I'm seeing the correlation as I go months and months, and now more data. We need to hit those students that are not here. And why are they not here? And a lot of the reason is they're carrying that emotional backpack with lots of issues. And so we're building. Really quick, is there anything on that? Okay, I have a couple more. I promise I can talk in depth. I can talk for a long time, and if you know me, I can talk. We're going to talk about teacher incentives. This is probably why you're here. You want to know how to motivate our teachers. We have a badge system. It doesn't cost money. I printed it on my color printer. I printed out badges, and each badge has a recognition. Whether they're helping with data, are they a data rockstar, are they a PBIS guru? Our system will tell us how many points our teachers are getting instantly. So I recognize our teachers every so often, every Monday. I have a course with them. I make sure that they're earning badges for walkthroughs, for submitting their data, for distributing points, for making sure that their kids. Sometimes it's building connections. I see two teachers talking about a student. I give them a touring falcon. right? To just recognize the effort of the collaboration and the connection that we try to build with students. We also have a teacher store, and that teacher store has lots of monsters, okay, and energy drinks. And they will call me on demand if you're watching on my campus, you know who you are. And incentives, a car wash, a raffle. Last week, I thought, oh, participation is down. How am I going to get my teachers to? I said, I'm going to be raffling off a little car wash, or I'm going to be raffling off whatever it is. Sometimes it comes from my own pocket. And I'm not one to, encourage you all to do that. But if that's what is necessary to do it as teachers, we do what we got to do to motivate our teachers. And so that's our teacher award system. I'm going to talk quickly. I know you gotta go. Parent communication. There's this, I know Ms. Deb said something about being able to communicate with the class over the elementary. Very similar. You can send out emails. You can send out text. Teachers can go back and forth with students, and there is always it's always student centered. So it's up there, guys. Our emails will be up there. If you have questions for me, please don't hesitate to ask. So these numbers are staggering. 270,000. Know that this program includes behavior. 62% feel that teaching SEL is important. 20% of students have seen improved academic performance. And then we have that minor referral system. You have students that don't obey the dress code, that are not on task, that are not showing any of your expectations, being at school. We're able to jot that down so that every teacher knows where we're at in the system. And so that we're able to go, hey, this student needs to be put on a list for RTI. Maybe they're an academic RTI. We can address behavior at the same time. Now we have data to help guide us on what that individual plan for data is in those in the Prezi, I think it was Prezi, right? That she was talking about. So it helps also parents to see, look, these are the infractions your child now has acquired. It is now a learned trait, and we can support each other in that respect. And then our last one, of course, our weaknesses is that it's progressive. Our strength is that it takes consistency. Our opportunities that we're able to grow and to evolve restorative practices. And then the last is to make sure that we're providing that professional development for our students, for our teachers and our students and our parents. And then of course we know all those together equals restorative practice. I just want to thank you one more time. I wish I had more time to discuss. I want to thank everybody at home, in our Clint family. They're amazing. Our teachers are doing just amazing work. If you can go on in and check their stuff out. If you have any questions, you're more than willing to help you at any point in time. Sylvia, thank you so much. And oh my gosh, Claudia. Questions? I know I went fast. Yes. No. So what? How do you see? How do you that? So I'm going to be honest. As a teacher, I was like, oh, it's another thing for me to do. I have time for this. I don't want it. However, it came from the principal. She had a vision, and it was progressive. It didn't happen overnight. Our campus didn't go from low performing to high performing now overnight. So it took slowly, and I say slowly, 4 years in the process of trying to get our teachers to buy into the program. Once we introduced teacher rewards, there was more receptive behavior. Once we started to see different in assignment, students were now trying to earn those points, then we saw a difference. As a teacher, I had to be consistent, and I had to find a way to be able to, oh, I'm going to do it after school. There's no time. So I had to embed it in my lesson. So providing support to your teachers on how to do that, how to embed it into their lesson, embed it into what they're teaching SEL all day long, not just during one period, is really helped our district really see a different vision for pushing it out to our principals and then down on to our staff. Questions? Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you, guys.